Funhouse active, king of the palace, rubber like Malcolm, balled up fist in the air to the flashlight, yeah, hands up in the air till they gun me down, I keep it 100, they crunching the numbers, I'm getting wild, young nigga got a fetish for success, if I ain't next and I just leave impression, next to rain on the window pane, puffin' plain Jane, let them second guess me, wanna cop the Porsche with the porcelain skin, grip the wheels at the horses, why they trash the chore on my list, out of this orbit, I saw with the pen, I'm eating good, Miss Caloric as shit, I sipped the potion and poured it, I on the tide when she poured it, opportunity knock at the door, then I grip, they rush for the doors and they open like bliss,
Yo, welcome to another episode of the Epic Podcast. I am here today with Ike, Jared, Justin to be joining us soon. Man, how was y'all weekends? Ike, how was your weekend? I'll start with you, Mr. ATL himself.
Hey man, we do this on Wednesdays. It's like days outside of like Saturday and Sunday. Because my weekend wasn't anything. But I did go see John Wick on a Tuesday. So technically, that doesn't answer the question. John Wick's fucking phenomenal, by the way. So if you ain't seen it, I highly recommend it.
So what, did you get like advanced? Yeah, did you get it like advanced screen?
Yeah, I went to a premiere.
Okay, all right.
I had a shitty movie theater, so it wasn't up to my standards because I've been bougie. I need somebody.
I'm about to say you go to that bougie theater.
I need somebody to bring me a menu, like and actual food. Like I moved past popcorn and hot dogs.
So you went to the basic theater.
Look, man, that's where the premiere was at. I had to go where the free shit was at. Had to lower myself a little bit.
What about you, Jared, man? How was your weekend? What you
chilling. We went down to Louisville. Spent the day down there. Well, a night and a day. My wife's best friend had a little housewarming, so we went through that. And then that next Saturday morning, I was able to shoot the podcast with my guy down there. And came back.
Shout out. What's the name of the podcast?
Oh, I Respectfully Disagree is the name of the podcast. It's by my guy Adrian. Holding it down there in Louisville. Do some great things if y'all get a second. Check it out. Check him out. Check a couple of his episodes out. But yeah, I was on episode 140. So y'all ever get the time, any of y'all viewers want to check me out, want to hear what I got to say outside of this podcast, check me out.
Cool, man. We got Justin with us now, man. How was your weekend? We just going over our weekends.
Busy. Busy, man. Busy.
Man, Justin look like he just hit a lick or something, bro.
Man, come into the arms.
What's going on?
Relax, y'all. You know what I mean?
Coming in with the kick, dog.
Like he just got done just hooking somebody up, bro.
Look, look, you can't be saying that. This go out. You know what I mean?
You look like you steal cable antennas.
Man, wow. Is that how you feel? Hey, if that's the case, you look like the dude I bring them to help ship them out the back of the van.
Look, I'm with that illegal activity.
Allegedly. Exactly. Look, because I sue you. I'm like Brett Favre.
Hey, you say you coming for all the dope.
All of it.
He
all
said,
of it.
Brett Favre said he gonna bankrupt Pat McAfee, man.
Man, he trying to. But nah, bro, busy weekend, man. Daughter had a volleyball tournament up in Cincinnati, so
he was in the town.
Yeah, man. So just busy with that all weekend, man. She had 4 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and then practice Sunday night for another club. So
about how long the matches last or the games last?
It depends because they first 2 sets are the 25. And if they have to go a third set, if they split the first 2 sets, the third set goes to 15. So I done seen some where, man, like, an entire match may take an hour or so. Yeah, just depending on, the rallies and how close the games be. Because if the games are like, let's say they end up being like 25, 22, them take a minute, but you got to win by 2.
Yeah.
So if you tied at 24, you up to 26. You know what I mean? You got to get 2 straight points. So yeah, it just be dependent, man. So sometimes it take a minute. Yeah, me and the wife had to invest in some bleacher seats, boy, because it was tearing our tail up.
I stay away
For
from high
real.
school games as it is,
Yep.
man. Like
Yeah,
every time I
man.
go, I'll be like, damn, I shouldn't have did this. Like, every
Yep.
single time.
You be
Yep.
wanting your kid, you want to support your kid, but then sometimes you just be like, man, this
Man.
is too
Oh yeah, so
long.
we got the bleacher seat, so we good now.
Okay, cool, man. I ain't do much, man, this weekend. Yeah, I didn't do nothing, man. We just kind of chilled. There wasn't really nothing going on in the Eskridge house, man. So, wife was working. I was babysitting. I guess I ain't babysitting when it's your baby,
I was gonna
but
say that ain't babysitting.
sitting,
We'll start being
sitting,
a father.
sitting, sitting
He
with the
was
Yeah.
being a
baby,
father.
Yeah.
being the
Okay.
dad.
So you wasn't being a deadbeat this weekend, is what you're
Nah, man, I
saying.
wasn't being
Yeah.
deadbeat this weekend. Nah, man. So we just kind of chilled and kicked it, man. That was really it. Wasn't too much going on. But yeah, man, let's jump into it, man. Everybody been watching games, man. Let's talk about this March Madness, man. A couple questions. Why is there so many upsets? Who gonna get bounced next? And surprise teams left. Let's start with you, man. Uh, why do you think it been so many upsets?
That depends on if you see them as upsets.
I mean,
I mean,
I,
at this point, I don't necessarily see them as upset. I mean, I guess if you're looking at numbers, like
yeah, I mean, based on
a
ranks and
16 lost to a 1, but I mean, this has been the most parity in years in college
okay.
basketball. So I mean, it's not that surprising. When you got Duke, who's lost, not Duke, but Purdue, who's lost to a double-digit seed the last 3 years, that's not an upset. That's a trend.
That's just a trend.
Yeah, like
Facts.
Facts though. Facts.
they're just going to lose to. So I mean, 5-12 happens every year. Like, is that really an upset? I mean, at this point, the college basketball is not the like next step to the NBA like it used to be. So I mean, these kids don't have to go to the big basketball program. So they ain't got to go to Duke. They ain't got to go to North Carolina. They ain't got to go to Kansas to actually make it to the league. So I mean, you're not seeing that same high level for those teams that you're used to seeing at the top. And then, I mean, with your mid majors, there's not a lot of stuff that's changed from them. They typically have people who are playing longer, playing together longer, so they have more cohesiveness. So it almost seems like the top is coming down and the bottom is moving up a little bit, and you're getting a little bit more parity. So I don't see them as upsets. I just see it as basketball. I mean, you're not seeing a ton of senior guard, junior guard led teams that are like going to go super deep into the tournament. The only older gentleman I can think of off the top of my head right now is the unfortunate one who threw the turnover in the Furman game. Um, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to again your typical bigger schools, I don't see a ton of senior or older leadership. So I mean, you've got young people playing against people who are a little bit more experienced because they've been playing together, a little bit more cohesion. That just means to me that there's more parity. It's just a little bit more even. So I don't see them as upsets.
Okay. What about you, Justin? What you think, man? You
Uh,
think it's a lot of upsets, or you think this just a trend, as Ike was saying, with just a bunch of young guys leading teams, and you know?
yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. I just think I agree with what Ike said. I mean, I just think at the end of the day, this was bound to happen when you started this one and done stuff. So at some point, a lot of that stuff was just gonna catch up, and you'll see teams. Because I mean, you got to think one. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a flaw anyway in your ranking systems. I was talking about this the other day, and I said I'm not knocking it, but like you take some of these teams and they could start the year off hot and all that good stuff, but a lot of these teams are one injury away from not even making the tournament if that person wasn't on the team. So you
Right.
see some of these teams they suffer an injury, but they were so good they get a five, or they go, you're going into the tournament number two C5s. Well, they're not really that team anymore. So you know what I
Mm,
mean. So some of that plays into effect. But I agree. I just think you got other teams like you got a Miami who has juniors and seniors. You know what I mean. You got teams now where you're just seeing a little bit more parity, and I just think that's the nature of it. So I don't necessarily see it as upsets. The reality is I had Purdue losing in the second round anyway, so I wouldn't. I mean, I wasn't surprised anyway. I wasn't expecting much from them.
right. What about you, Jared? Last but not least, man, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Ike and Justin. I feel like with to Ike's point, the parity. I mean, no, you really don't know who's who. And then like on the podcast we shot with Crossroads, we were talking about it. I
Mm-hmm.
specifically remember saying nobody's good.
Yep.
And this is
Yep.
before I even knew that my guy was a Purdue fan. So I wasn't trying to like come at him for his team, but the
I
games that
was.
they lost as the number one ranked team in the country was just like, really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's it. I think the transfer portal is kind of hurting it. Because like for example, the kid from Miami, he was from Kansas State. Nigel Pack, the kid from here.
Hmm.
So that probably could have boosted Miami from not making the tournament to being a 5 seed to playing
Yep.
in the Sweet 16. Just
To
that
being
move there.
impact.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the one and dones, like you said, Justin, I think that's affecting it. I don't want to. I'm trying to stay away from saying hurting it because I don't want to sound like a hater. Although, yeah, that's
Right.
another.
I,
Yep.
I'll say.
That's another like. Yeah, I don't want to go
Yeah,
down
yeah.
that
No,
rabbit
no,
hole.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I think it's affecting it. The transfer portal. I think the parity. You just don't really know who's who. Um, Shout out to Princeton still being in it though. I
Yeah.
guess you could call
Yeah.
them the surprise team, but like y'all both said, can you really even call it a surprise? Guess how many
No.
games of Princeton I watched this year? Zero. So I don't know what the hell they're capable of. I
Yep.
couldn't
Right,
tell you
right.
one of the guys' names on the team. So I think that factors into it all.
Okay, so again, like, all right, based on where we are now in the tournament, like, who do y'all see as a big name that may get bounced next? Like, if y'all had to pick one out of the ones that's left, which ain't many. I mean, you got Alabama, really, and
Houston.
Houston. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you think Houston? Who you think,
Yeah.
Justin? Who you
I
got?
mean, I guess it depends on what you are. You talking about the one seeds that are left, or just
Yeah, I guess
anybody
some of the
who?
top seeds versus some of the lower seeds. I guess I should say,
I
like,
mean,
because that's how we can go on this seed. Based on how they seeded. We may not
yeah,
think that's the talent number, but that may be just how they going.
yeah. I mean, I would probably say the team that's most likely is probably going to be Houston. But I mean, obviously, with UCLA and Gonzaga matching up, one of them going to be
Mm.
gone. You know what I mean? That somebody's going to be gone who's a 2 or 3 seed there. You know what I mean? So,
Right, right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think because to me, and I guess I'll say this too. I just think that Bama's the most well-rounded team I've seen so far in the tournament in terms of as a collective.
It's
You
a
know,
collective.
they
Okay.
don't need their star to be a star every game in order to win. So
Hmm.
Okay.
And
Ike, what
I
about?
would.
Oh, go ahead, Jeff. I mean,
I was
Jared.
gonna say I was gonna say Houston. I mean, I don't know the status of Marcus Sasser, their point guard.
that's the other.
He
Yep.
he went
Yep.
out in the American Conference Championship. So that kind of hurt him. Well, it hurt him a lot. So we'll see if he can come back. I haven't seen any updates on his status. So I definitely feel like Houston is in the most danger as far as one seeds. But I mean, anything can happen if. I
Oh
haven't even
yeah.
looked back at my bracket not one time because I'm in the
I'm,
second game when Virginia goes out. It's just like, all right, well, better luck next year.
well, really, what I think what did it for me was on that. Like, I think it was Brandon when we did the episode with Crossroads. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of sold me on Kansas, which is why I actually
Mm.
picked Kansas. I think to go to like the Elite Eight or something like that. And then when they got bounced, I'm like, well,
Were
guess we
you
were wrong
expecting
on
the
that one.
coach to
So
be out though? Like,
no, no, but I
so
mean,
you get a pass
again,
for that because
yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, too, like even in the matchups, because if I'm mistaken, Texas and Xavier play too. That's another 2-3 matchup. So you're gonna lose
Mhm.
another high seed because they play each other this round. So
Yep, that is a 2-3.
Yeah, that's bound to happen. I mean, well, of course, somebody's gonna be gone. What
right,
about you, Ike? What you think?
I mean, same Houston as. I had Houston losing the last game. I think I still got three of
really?
my final four actually.
It
Yeah,
was
I
close. They only
yeah,
beat
No, no, no.
I
I'm
had
not.
them.
Yeah.
Bro.
Mm,
I definitely had to lose in the last game,
okay.
and picked that in my bracket prior to. So uh, I also am going to admit a bit of my bias because I was at IU when Kelvin Sampson was making three-way calls. It kind of fucked us up. So there's a little bit of hate there. I'm not gonna lie, but the same thing that Jared said with one of their best players being out, like it. And in a tournament, you've got to have your best players, especially a guard
Yep.
Yep.
who is going to be able to control the tempo, know when to push, know when not to push, know who to get involved,
Yep.
and without that, it's really really difficult.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's who I have, and again, part of it's Hayden, but also the majority of it is because they're missing one of their best players.
Yeah, I've always think college basketball has kind of been centered around uh, guard play for the most part here lately, just because you gotta have somebody who can run offense, who can tell what's going on, who can see the floor and make plays. It's really about that, getting the ball to the right people in college. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's really what it's about. Not so much in the pros, but in college. Surprise team still left. I guess we talked about it. That's Jared. You said Princeton. I mean, who would have
Yep.
thought? Who else y'all got out there? Who you got? Ike as a surprise team for you that's still in it.
I mean, I guess I can't say a surprise thing because I don't consider any
Yeah,
of these
yeah,
games upsets. So,
yeah.
like to me, none of this is surprising. It's just, I mean, and to kind of go back to what Jared and Justin were saying, like I called one and done killing college basketball when they introduced it, and I'm going to say it's hurting, like because again, your best players either, especially at that time, like they would either go to the whatever school was the biggest, like Calipari would get them all. They would be there for a
Mm-hmm.
year, and they would go to the league. Or Duke would get a couple of them. They'd be there for a year, and then they go to the league. Then you introduce, well, now we got NIL and these other options in which people don't even have to go to college as the next step to the league. So
Talk about it.
and then like look, Bates, sorry, is what in somewhere in Detroit. I always forget what school he's at. He's
Eastern
going,
Michigan.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to get to the league and what they won like 5 or 6 games or something this year.
Damn, that's it.
They didn't win that many. I saw at one point they were like 4-12 or something like that. But they were
Jeez.
close to having a winning season. But he's gonna get to the league, and I mean, yeah, he went to Memphis first and transferred out because he had whatever issue he had with Penny. But players like that used to have to go to big schools
Mm-hmm. To
to
get
get to the
noticed.
league. Now, I mean, and some of the best guards in the league now didn't go to huge schools. I mean, Steph went to Davidson. Dame went to what Weber State.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like you don't when you ain't got to make that jump to a huge D1 school and you can still get to where you want to get to. All you got to do is show that you can ball. One and done plus that makes it to where you don't have a ton of differences in teams anymore in college.
Can I say this though?
Go ahead.
To kind of piggyback off what you're saying. See, I even take it a step further, and I said the problem is it goes back to like Dame's comments and Jerry. You know, I'm talking about on the podcast with JJ Redick, which is the culture of basketball today. The kids are just giving too much too soon. That's why you see
Mm-hmm.
what happens to Imani Bates happen because he's been getting told since he was in what 7th grade, hey, you're the #1 draft pick in the NBA draft when it comes around. You know, when
Mm.
you got a guy like Mikey Williams getting a $3 million Puma deal, shoe deal, and you're still in high school, there's just it's so much given to these kids. They don't have the need to work like it used to. You used to have to grind, and you don't have to
Yeah.
do that anymore because now they getting social media famous, and they get money just based on that. So I just think a lot of that is what's hurting the game as well, especially like college basketball. And I'm just curious, and I know this is off topic. Y'all's thoughts on this because this came up because I work with a couple guys who are Purdue fans, and I said this. Side note: Eastern Michigan was 8-23. So you're 100% right, Ike. Good
Terrible.
lord, they're terrible. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
looking at that too. That's
Yeah, like
wild.
horrible. But I said this. I said, really, in the reality, a kid like Imani Bates needed to end up at a Purdue. I said, you can't leave from a Memphis and go to Eastern Michigan and yeah, you average 20 or whatever you average, but I can't look at that the same. You needed to go to a Purdue where you could show me that you can compete in the Big Ten, where
Yep.
you're still going to play against those
Yeah.
big schools. Maybe Memphis was a bad look or situation, okay, but you can't leave Memphis and go to Eastern Michigan and then want me to say you're a first round draft pick, my man. I'm sorry, it don't work like that. If to me,
Unfortunately, that's
it does.
how
You're
it's gonna
right.
work
Yep,
out for him.
yep. But
Yeah,
no,
it will.
no. So sorry to go on that little slight
No,
rant,
no,
but it
no.
was
But
just
it's viable.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's
8 and 23 is the worst. That's
That's
terrible.
terrible. That's
And I
terrible.
was looking at his game log. Like one game, he went 2 for 17.
Yep.
And granted, he's playing
He's
in the
value.
MAC, so it's not 2 for 17 against Gonzaga or
Yeah,
Texas.
exactly.
I mean, that's 2 for 17 against I can't remember who it was, but like
Northern Illinois and
that's
Toledo,
State or
or
something.
yeah, like
Right, right,
Niagara.
right.
yeah.
You played
Now,
Niagara. You know what I mean? Like,
granted, he's had some good games. I mean, he had 43 one game, lost though, which
yeah,
is
exactly.
tragic. He had 30 against Michigan, lost. 36 against South Carolina, lost. I mean, these teams aren't even ranked. South Carolina was terrible this year.
Yep.
43 against Toledo and lost. 35 against Ball State and lost. 20. Yeah, this is terrible.
Terrible.
So yeah, y'all absolutely right with that for sure.
Yeah, and I just think, like you said, nowadays you don't have to go to a big school because everybody you can find anybody on the internet. You can find their tape on the internet. Like you can find, like you said, highlights like what
Highlight culture.
Austin was talking. Austin
Yep.
Rivers was talking about.
Yep.
Like you can find the highlights. You can find what any kid in the country is doing, and you don't have to go visit them. It could be these small towns like that. These recruits wouldn't even want to go to, or these NBA scouts wouldn't even really go to unless it was
Right.
a Larry Bird or somebody like that on that level. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Who
Hey.
literally take the national reigns by dominating through college basketball, not only as a player but as a team. You know, pulling his team along too. And
Right.
now, like you said, you could be fucking 8 and 9 and be the best on your team and throw your name in the draft and you mid first round or something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's just wild, man. Like, just wild.
Right. Before we get off college basketball, can I ask something real quick?
Absolutely.
So have y'all heard about Antoine Davis from Detroit Mercy? Second leading scorer.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's complaining because he didn't get an
He said he got
opportunity.
cheated.
Yeah, y'all were 14 and 19.
They weren't a good team.
14 and 19.
And,
And then you're
and he,
chasing a record that, a guy, did it in 3 years. He did it in 5. I would just gracefully take that second. And, 14 and 19, you don't deserve to play anything once your schedule is over. I'm sorry. So for the
and there
fact that he's
was
not, because even watching, I was watching the championship of the college basketball invitational. I don't even know if guys may not have heard about it. EKU, Eastern Kentucky was playing. They were playing UNC Charlotte, and both those teams were like 23 and 13. So to be 14 and 19 and be complaining because you didn't get,
I don't want to hear it.
yeah, an extra game. That's crazy. I think that kind of ties into the culture. It kind of ties into what Austin Rivers was talking about. It kind of ties
Yep.
into what Dame was saying. Like
Yep.
the
Yep.
the product and the focus is just different. It's just different. I don't even really know how to really break that down any further, but it's just different.
No,
to complain about that and have an extra year.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro.
Yeah, you got a fifth
that
year.
part.
Yeah, and you guys suck. I mean, sorry, you guys stink. You
You
don't
should
deserve
have
to
won more
play more
games,
basketball.
fam. It's cool.
Exactly. You
more basketball.
win more, man. Like
Right.
it's enough getting the scoring and whatever, but you just gotta win more.
Got to.
It's not equal. It's not equal to winning. So
No.
you're never gonna get any recognition if it doesn't equal winning. If what you're doing
Right.
does not equal winning, it's just gonna be hard for people to get behind you. You know what I
They
mean?
need, they need to go ahead and open up that rule so that these guys can go to the NBA. And I feel like if you go to college and you accept a scholarship, you should have to give a commitment. 2 years, we could discuss
agree.
3, but I feel like that'll make the product better. And then overall, all college basketball will just improve. The fans will like it. If you go to college and you accept a scholarship, you should have to have some commitment. That's all I'm saying. But that ain't really.
I've actually
That makes
second that.
sense.
Yep, because I actually said I think the one sport that has it right is baseball.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think baseball has it
Make
right.
them commit early, even at high school.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
well,
a senior in
but
high
here's
school.
the thing: if you're good enough, you can go to the majors.
Yep.
But if you're not, 2 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's.
But you can still be under contract with their AA or
Right,
AAA team.
right.
You know what I mean? And still be
Yep.
getting paid, still be
Yep.
productive, still building your skill.
Yep.
Like
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you though, Jerry. I think even like what Ike said earlier, I just think if you want a better experience with college basketball and to bring some of that back, you got to get away from the one and done. I never was a fan of them taking away allowing players to come out of high school anyway. I think that was wrong, and we know why they did that. Let's just be real. But I also think that implementing 2 years, but I also think, and this is my opinion, I also think college football needs to move from 3 to 2. Like I think they need to
I can
reduce
see
it by
that
1
too.
year as well. So
I'm cool with that. Yeah, I would
yeah,
definitely sign off on that for sure.
yep. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so moving right along, staying with basketball real quick. We're gonna jump over to the NBA, even though nobody's really paying attention to the NBA
At all.
at
Man,
all.
you know what? I'm probably the biggest NBA fan out of the four of us, and if the Lakers ain't on, I'm asleep at 10.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even
So
care.
we
Look,
just gonna talk about the MVP race right now and how it's changed. It's only really changed at the top with Embiid and Yoke. My question is, do y'all think? Well, right now, for people who can't see, they got Luka at 5, Tatum at 4, Antetokounmpo at 3, Joker at 2, and Embiid at 1 right now. As of today, actually, 4 out of the 5 are playing today. My question is, how has Embiid emerged as the MVP favorite, or do you even agree with it?
No. Do I agree with him being number one? No. Do I agree with him staying at number two? No. Who cares? I mean, I feel like at this point
Facts.
you're just rolling the dice. Like who cares? I want to see somebody who cares. Like introduce me to somebody who cares about this this MVP race.
I just think, Embiid. I just think in the past he's been close, and he's feel like he's been slighted before.
Politics.
I
I feel like that's why he will
It
win it
is.
this year because they feel like let's give it to him because
You can't give it to Giannis again. Giannis got 2, right? Giannis got 2,
yeah.
and then Joker got 2, and now it's like, all right, like.
Look, let's go. We can end this conversation right now. Even Jared, they agree with me on this. At the end of the day, we all know it's politics because in their prime, LeBron would have had more, Jordan would have had like
Kobe would have had
Kobe.
more,
Yeah, like let's. It's the
Yeah,
politics
'cause
of the
Kobe-
game. So I have
Yeah.
Kobe
zero
only got 1.
interest. Yeah. So I have
That's
zero
crazy.
interest in
yeah,
that.
he got robbed the Steve Nash year.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Definitely
y'all
got
know
robbed
I'm the
this weekend.
biggest non-Kobe guy out of all of us,
Mhm.
and I will tell you he got robbed out of that one.
And I'm the
So,
number 2
I'm
priority
saying,
Kobe.
I'm saying
Kobe
both.
guy.
I'm saying both
I'm
the
with it
Nashes,
too.
and then we
Oh,
got to talk
questionable.
about Dirk's too.
Questionable.
But that's
Yeah,
another conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
You said
Nash
talk
should
about
never
who?
have
Derek,
an NBA.
talk about who?
Nash should have
I
never
would
got an
say-
MVP.
Oh, Nash
Both
should have never
Nashes.
had one. And you were saying, well, wait a minute.
Neither
Jared
one.
said something. He slid it in there.
Might have to talk about Dirk's too.
Derek
Derrick
Rose?
No, Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, Dirk.
Oh, Dirk.
I thought you said Derrick Rose. I'm about to say.
No.
We
But
definitely
that
need to
one could
revisit
be-
that too.
If we
I've
wanna-
heard the
that-
arguments for the D Rose, but the
That
only
D Rose one
I-
probably should be LeBron's too, if you look at it a certain kind of way.
that's
But,
what I was gonna say. It depends on how you look at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
ain't nobody mad at it. You can't
Okay.
be.
No, he was spectacular that year
Yeah,
too. So
you can't be mad at it.
Ike, you've been real quiet, man. It makes me nervous.
I don't know how am I supposed to feel about that.
I don't know. But
I don't
start
care
off with
about the race
Embiid.
either. But I'm not mad at Embiid taking the number 1 spot. He's been playing better overall, and they've actually been winning games. I mean, that's definitely gonna be part of it. Like,
yeah.
you've got to at least win games, especially at the end of the year, and they're still kind of fighting for playoff positioning, whereas the Nuggets are going backwards in playoff positioning. And I mean, just kind of looking through. I mean, because Joker's stats aren't terrible over the last couple of games. One, they haven't been winning, but you can see a drop off. Like, I mean, he had a 4 or 5 game span where he was basically hitting 30, damn near triple double a game, dropping down to mid to low 20s. Still getting those assists, still getting those rebounds, but now you're not
The
winning
point
games.
production ain't there.
So now it's like, all right, well, are you really impacting the game? Are you really the most valuable player if those stats aren't impactful? And I mean, I'm the guy who does not want to look at just the straight up numbers and say, because numbers to me don't tell the full story. You can look at stats, you can look at the whole hard stats. To me, you've got to go a little bit deeper. And you've got to look at other things like, how are your stats impacting the game? And not
Are you
only
putting up
is-
these stat lines and wins? Are y'all dominating? Like,
But Embiid's actually doing it in the crunch as well. So I mean, he's actually winning games. He won a game at the buzzer, I believe.
Yeah,
or really
well,
close
yeah,
to
he had
the
a buzzer
or
beater from the
something.
free throw line.
Yeah. So like,
They was
he's
trailing that
actually
whole
doing
game
it
too.
when it matters, and he is the reason that they're winning those games. It ain't nobody else on that team is the reason he's winning those games. You
Ooh,
can't
his
say
heart
the
is
same thing
stinky.
for Joker.
The hell's going on with him?
Oh man, look.
oh, that flukiness thing called up. Never mind.
Oh man.
Man,
right.
we got a lot of side conversations that could
It's,
take place on this
but
episode
that,
here,
hey,
bro.
you know
You might have to
what?
run this back and make
Hey,
more
No, wait a
content off of
minute
that,
though.
because
But like
man,
when we do have these conversations, like I go back and I watch it again, of course, just because I'm editing and making clips and stuff. But it's cool to just hear how we talk and just the side conversations, and then next week it's a topic. Like,
this could be
Yeah,
5 hours every week.
yeah, we
man,
can
like we
absolutely.
can literally do a show a day if we wanted to, just with
Yeah,
how we all our side conversations.
crazy.
But okay, let's jump off this, man. Let's jump into this NFL free agency, man. Thoughts so far on free agency, man. Y'all teams, other teams, big name free agents, who went where, who y'all think has had the best free agency right now? Let's start with that. Who do you think had the best free agency so far right now? Who been spending money? Who been getting those dough and that players? Who been spending that dough and getting players? To you, Justin.
I would go to me. Period. Right now, it's the Bears, hands down. Moving from that number 1 pick,
Yo,
and for what you got for that alone was a major move, if you ask me, in terms of what they need. Because then you signed Tremont Edmonds to replace, what Roquan, that void he left. And I like Edmonds.
No, Edmonds
He's
solid.
a hitter. He's a hitter. He's a big guy against the run. You lose something in pass coverage with him, but young boy who can get it, man. And then I'm trying to think of who else, because they signed
They got the kid from They got the guy from the Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah, Hargrove, wasn't it?
mhm.
I thought it was.
No, we got Hargrove.
No.
Hargrove came to death row, baby.
Oh yeah, okay. Who? Which one did they get? I'm trying to.
TJ Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
Let me.
Yeah.
I thought I
mean,
had this pulled
Let
up.
me. I was gonna say I had to pull up the list, but I'll be honest. I don't like right now. I don't, since everybody's not done. To me, it's just kind of tough to say. Like mainly the Bears, because I just think what you got for that number 1 pick. I mean, with a starting receiver and the draft capital. I mean that's clutch. But I like what the Lions have done. CJ Gardner Johnson and some of the moves they made. I like that. I'll be honest. I like even it's not I guess you would say the sexiest pick, but I even like a team like Philadelphia being able to keep some of their talent that they instead of losing as much as I thought, they kept a lot of it as well. So I mean, a lot of teams that I think have done well. So
yeah,
except for your coach.
And oh man.
Then they go out and get Isaiah McKenzie, and I'm just like, that's still not that.
Hey, hold on, Jared.
I think the Colts have something against number 1 receivers. Like
They do. They like Baltimore.
Yeah.
Hold on. And then they signed Gardner Minshew to come start.
Nah, they're not doing that.
Oh,
They're going to
okay.
draft a quarterback.
Nah, stop, bro.
They
Come
Hold
on, bro.
let me ask you a
They're
question.
going with
You
the
petty, bro.
No, hold on. Let me ask you a question.
No.
Let me ask you a
There's
question.
no way.
Okay.
Let me ask you a
All right,
question.
all right,
Let
I'm
me ask you
listening.
a question, real quick, because I heard this as a scenario and it can happen. CJ and Bryce are gone 1-2. The Cardinals move out of 3 because somebody wants Levis.
So
or whoever,
Atlanta
right?
want to jump up, or
whoever it is, right?
Teams. Yeah.
So at 4, are you really taking Will Levis or Anthony Richardson at 4?
I think if it came down to it,
No.
You got a point.
if I
Here we
I
go.
think if CJ is gone,
If he's gone, CJ and
okay,
Bryce are gone.
CJ and Bryce are gone. That's almost a foregone conclusion because Carolina didn't jump up for no reason, and we already know what the Texans do. Or do we? What?
We do. Texans are going quarterback.
You
bro.
gotta go. You gotta go quarterback. Like you got to.
Not if you don't want, you know what I'm saying, the guy you end up with. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, like, neither one of them guys,
I
they
agree.
both flop, I won't be
them
surprised
two,
at all.
after them two, it is a toss-up. You don't know what you're really getting. You're not really confident in those guys. Kind of like what
I'm not
confident with any of them.
either.
Yeah,
right.
with
I'm
any
just
of
saying.
them.
I'm just saying any of them. But I'm just saying like those two, Stroud and Young. You just kind of. At least the talent is there. At least you can say the talent is there. Nonetheless,
they're proven on the
they've
college.
proven that they can at least
I get that.
play and dominate at the college level, if nothing else. The other two guys have not shown that. They're not top ranked teams. They're not bowl teams. They haven't dominated college football in the way that you like. Those two could be next. I think you're now looking at like, okay, who do you have to just take the tape? Because Coach got to take QB. Like
Nah,
you
I
just
mean,
No,
shit, you don't have
don't.
to. You don't
Yeah, I
have
mean,
to.
y'all got the stats,
with
bro.
everything we don't went through, with all the quarterbacks we don't went through.
But
There's
you
no
ain't gonna
way
just draft somebody at 4, bro. If
you
they ain't
you
That
doing
you
the
don't
most.
really think.
If you don't, if they ain't gonna work out, because at that point you can get the number one defensive player potentially on the board. So you're not
Hmm.
gonna just grab a quarterback just to
but
say, "Hey, I drafted one." Like,
but
nah.
I don't think they hate Richardson. I don't think
There's
they
also
want to.
still
I
time
don't. I
though.
don't think they want black quarterback, but I don't think they hate Richardson.
Maybe they move up, or maybe if they don't get Bryce or Stroud, they on the phone with Baltimore. So I
Right.
mean, we
But
don't, there's still
what if
time.
what if what? Because I've seen mock drafts where, hey, Richardson's number one.
Brother, that
Carolina
ain't
like him, from what I
stop,
heard
stop.
from Dan Orlowski, the one who was
If you look,
who.
I don't
But
care
wait a
nothing
minute.
about any of what they said, bro. If you
I'm
watch
just
CJ's pro day today and you seen the way Carolina's Frank Reich and them was salivating after my man finished, yeah, they ain't going with no daggone Anthony Richardson, bro.
okay then. So they take Stroud. They take they take Texans take Young, which I think is crazy, but if they do, I don't think the Colts hate Richardson. I don't think they like Levis, but I don't
But
think they hate Richardson.
what Justin is saying is just because you don't hate him, don't mean you spend a fourth overall pick on him. Is what, and
But
I didn't
then,
even think
but
I
then
wasn't even thinking that until he
then the
just
other
said that.
areas you need help in, there's not a top receiver up there
I
that you
mean,
want.
shit.
You
Who
can
Jackson
get the
Smith
who
was
best,
you
good,
take?
bro.
What receiver you taking at 4?
but you can get. I'm saying you can get maybe Will Anderson or one. You can get a top defensive
But
player
then,
at
but then,
that position.
I see what you're saying. But then you got Grover Stewart, which is one of the top DNs in the league last year. You got Buckner, which is a top DN in the league. Then you got you
What do you
just
say?
resigned some. You just resigned EJ Speed as an edge rusher. Like you've already got your linebacking core. Like, of course,
You got a faulty
Will
linebacking
Anderson
core.
could be a generational talent. Like he could be a Freeney or Mathis. He could be one of those guys. A Watt, or he could be that. But to do that in an area where you really need offensive weapons,
What if they come out of the fourth spot then?
Yep.
I wouldn't be mad at that. But I think as a fan base, what we done been through with quarterbacks,
You don't
that
want that,
own.
bro.
I'm
You
just
do
saying.
not want them to take
It's not
the
about what
third or
I
fourth
want.
best quarterback
Listen,
just because
it's
you don't
not
want
about
that,
what
bro.
I want. I'm looking at it from a coach organizational
They don't want
standpoint.
that either. Is what we're trying to say.
Okay. All
They
right.
don't want that either.
Okay. When you got an owner this when you got an owner and a GM who's
Don't
been
matter.
striking out
Don't
on
matter.
QBs, who've been signing all
That's
these
exactly
old.
why they're not going to
No,
draft
listen.
them at
Literally
4.
supporting
Okay. Okay.
our
Yeah.
point because you're
Okay.
saying that they're
I'm
striking
talking
out on
about,
QB.
but you're grabbing old ass people, bro.
I understand that, but that don't mean you just get anybody out of college.
Which
Okay.
is why I say they could ride with Minshew this year
No.
if they don't get who they wanted. Okay.
Bro, my thing is that
The
if that's the
guys,
case, then if
hey,
that's the case, then you could have made a play. You could have made a play at Carr, at Garoppolo, and
No, because
right, they won't do
you
that's
them.
could have
not
you could have did that if you just
They
wanted to
won't
put
do
not if
them.
you
somebody in
don't
there for a
believe in
year. But
not if you don't
Minshew,
believe the
You
talent.
don't. I mean, you really don't know what they have in their
but you
pocket,
believe in.
bro. They
I,
could, like I said, they could very well be on the phone with Baltimore. We
Correct.
don't know.
I
Correct.
hope.
We
I
don't.
hope
We
that'd
have
be a
no
dream
idea.
come true.
Yeah,
We
correct.
don't. We
But
don't know. Those
Because
guys
right,
get paid to do what we're talking about,
look,
so they
I
got
agree.
some kind of plan.
Look,
But
I
I
hope.
don't think Will Levis or Anthony Richardson at 4 is the right idea.
But
I
I
mean, you
think,
can't just go based on,
but
oh,
if
we need a
neither one of,
quarterback.
but if you do draft one and they don't work, you're in the same position next year to get one of the guys that they feel is
I
a better QB
understand,
draft next year.
but you
but here's the
don't
thing.
waste. You don't. So you just waste this pick just to say
Yeah.
you did it.
No, I'm just saying that if if
Bro,
if you can't get Lamar, which that's really it. What else is out there?
no, that's it right now.
I mean,
Okay, cool.
maybe you call the 49ers about Trey Lance.
True.
But then you in the
True.
same spot as grabbing a rookie. He ain't played
Trey
no
Lance is
game,
better than Will Levis.
but he hasn't played enough games. So do you really know?
Yes, you
Yes, I
do.
do.
Yes, you do.
So we
I've
gonna
seen
get
enough to know
Yeah.
he's better than Anthony
so wait a
Richardson and
minute.
Will
So wait a
Levis.
minute. So wait a minute. We haven't been able
Go
to
ahead, call it
to
that pro, bro.
Matt, look, anyway, we ain't been able to protect our QBs. Our line has been getting worse year after year. So then you're going to bring in an injury-prone quarterback who hasn't played enough college games or pro games, who has not enough tape probably
How many
than
pro
Will
games has Will
Levis.
Levis played?
I'm just saying, though, you damn near going to do the same thing with Trey Lance.
But you do realize Anthony Richardson, I think, has 13 starts in college football.
And how many Trey Lance had? Less than that, I believe.
Trey's played NFL games.
Bet early.
He's been in those rooms.
He's been in those rooms for 2 years.
He's been getting NFL coaching.
So do you give up a fourth for him? What you giving up for him? What the Niners give up to get him? What y'all give up to get Trey Lance?
You're not trading the fourth.
Hold on.
That's not what they say.
You mean what are y'all giving up?
No, I'm saying what did they give up to give him? Then what we gonna have to give up to get him?
They're not gonna expect the same return, bro. That's not. I mean, come on, man. They don't. Boys,
I'm not saying the same.
You're talking about guys getting traded who, I mean, Jalen Ramsey gets traded for what, a third? Like, come on, bro. Like, the teams aren't asking for like that for guys, bro. That's not happening.
Okay. Hear me out.
I mean, if y'all want to give up 3 firsts, we'll take it.
No,
right.
I'm not.
Vernon, I don't think you think rationally about the Colts, bro. I'm starting to think that you like. I don't think you do, bro.
You don't.
And it could be because you're a fan. It's not your fault, but I think you're totally like.
I don't think rationally about the Colts.
I'm starting to think so, bro.
Coming from the angriest Bengal fan, I know.
Hey, but could I be saying be right?
Do it.
All the guys that I said was garbage. Guess what happened? Did we re-sign them?
They got big money. They got big money.
Yeah, we have the third most cap space in the league.
I'm talking about like your guy Bates, which everybody argued is one of the top defenders that was out there this year. You say garbage, trash, cut him, get rid of him. He shouldn't be in the NFL. Yeah, and he just got paid. And all his numbers show that he's one of the best cover guys in the league.
No, that's not facts.
That's just you watch. See you watching it. See you watching. See you watching as a fan. You think he's trash because
he's a safety first of all, so he's not in that much coverage.
I'm just saying.
Come on, now, that's watching 101.
I'm just saying, but watching him.
But to flip it back to what we were originally talking about, you and the Colts, to say that the Colts have had number 1 receivers, that's crazy. To say that they should just take any quarterback just to say they did with the number 4 overall pick is crazy. That's nuts.
Bro, name something else that we're going to take at the 4th pick.
I don't know, Vernon. Trade the damn pick.
Okay, but then you trade the
pick.
You
don't just get a quarterback just because you think you need one, and that's the guy that you...
So you're saying we don't need one? We don't need one.
I'm not saying that, bro.
You said
what
think.
I'm saying is
either we do or we don't.
Richardson is not the answer. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
if the
do
guy
we need a quarterback?
Is not available, you don't just pick the next best available quarterback. So
okay,
to say what you, think
you don't want none of them. Nobody really wants any of them. It wouldn't even be a conversation.
You do. Like,
who do? Who? Only team that's really showed that they want somebody is Carolina.
Okay.
And Houston, because Houston didn't have to move.
But you ain't heard no talk about who Houston wants.
Why would you?
And if Houston really, wait a minute. If they really wanted Stroud, if they feel like Stroud is the guy, wouldn't they move up Houston?
No, who said Houston about Stroud? Everything I've heard, they're like Bryce Young.
Can I finish?
One thought. Bro.
I'm just saying, if everybody was sold on their guy, if the Texans were sold on their guy, they could move up to 1 to get their guy. If they thought that
make the trade, Vernon, you can't just do something. So how do you know that the Texans didn't call the Bears and been like, "Hey, this is what we'll give you for the number 1 pick," and then the Panthers came in and said, "This is what we give you for the number 1 pick," and the Bears said, "Okay, the Panthers, you win." Correct. How do you know that didn't take place?
Because 2-1 ain't giving up much, bro.
Do something don't mean that they can do it.
Okay. So we can say the same thing about the Colts, right? Just because you can do it don't mean you have to do it, right? We can say that too about the 4th pick. So what I'm saying is there's no confidence in these QBs this year. There's no confidence really. Nobody's going crazy over these QBs. That's why all this talk is about them. Because nobody's really sold on them.
So basically you're saying that Carolina doesn't really want CJ Stroud.
I'm saying that Carolina probably is the only person who's shown it in real life. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows there's nobody's draft boards. But Carolina's the only one who's jumped up, who's made any moves in this draft to show that they want somebody at 1.
Houston doesn't have to make a move. They're picking number 2.
Okay.
There's 2 good quarterbacks in the draft. They're going to end up with either one.
Yeah.
So y'all said so CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are good. We have no problems with these 2.
What
I'm
in
asking.
the world are you? Yeah, I mean, yes.
In terms of the quarterbacks in this draft class,
being at the top of the summit in college football. So yeah, it's something there to want to draft them. Absolutely. Okay. What else do you have to do in college to not be worth spending the 1st or 2nd overall pick on? They literally have done everything.
Okay.
Do I think that they're gonna be,
No, don't backpedal. Don't backpedal.
I can't talk.
Either they're good or they're not.
So you're
Or they
saying
NFL ready or they not.
hold on, okay. So just because you're saying that I think that they had good college careers that could translate to the NFL, that means I have to say that they're guaranteed going to transfer.
No, I asked, are they good or they not?
They're
We
good.
don't know.
Yeah. What if they?
They're
What if they done to prove that they aren't
okay
good?
then. So the Colts can draft Richardson, and he could be better than the other two. Is that not a possibility?
It is a possibility.
Okay then, so
But
it's
that's
okay.
not-
So
that's
whoever
not what you
they,
were
so
saying.
whoever they take, it's a possibility that they could be as good as the ones that they couldn't get.
You could pick
Brock
somebody
Purdy was
outside
the last
those
pick in the
four.
daggone draft, and he was probably better than every other quarterback. What are you saying?
So
What are you saying?
why is it so crazy for me to say the Colts need to take a QB at 4?
Because all me and Jared been saying is if you're not sold on Levis or Richardson, you don't take them at 4 just to say you drafted a quarterback.
That's all we're saying.
That's it.
But what's being? Then I'm asking, what qualifies as being sold?
Oh my God.
What's
You
being
have to ask the
sold?
coach on what sells them on a
Does
quarterback.
evaluating talent mean anything to you, bro?
Yes. Okay.
Does wins and losses and on-field production in college mean anything to you, bro?
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. So
That's literally
with
what
that,
we're talking about.
okay. So is Georgia's QB ready?
He's
right now?
25, so he's probably more pro ready than Levis and Richardson.
Where is he at?
But
Why
he
is
has a
nobody
lower
talking about
ceiling
him?
because he
Why?
has a lower ceiling and he's 25.
Okay, but what does his tape say? Does his tape say something different?
His tape says he's better than both of them.
He didn't.
Facts.
He showed up
Okay.
didn't throw close to 50 touchdowns. Bro only had like 23 touchdowns this year.
Okay. So what I'm saying is we can't just go on tape. We can't just go on what other people are saying.
What you're saying is that the coach should take a quarterback regardless, and we're saying no, you don't do that. That's
and
all we're saying.
I'm just saying that none of these guys are what we say Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning or any of these guys was coming out where you
Yes,
say, okay,
they are, bro. Have you seen C.J. Stroud's stats, bro?
okay. It's the same. You be the
Have you
same
seen
guy.
what he's
You
done?
be the same guy that be talking about him during the season, saying that, oh, he ain't this, he ain't that. Oh, I wish he would do this better. I wish he would do that. You be the same one. When he has the best block,
looking at something
he goes
from
to
a
the
fan,
best receivers, and he
looking at
goes to the
something
most
from a
open
fan's
receivers.
perspective,
And you saying
from
that?
a fan's perspective, and looking at it from a scouting perspective is two completely different things. As a fan, do I want to see him run? Absolutely. As a scout, I just said that. Does he have to run? Fuck no. Peyton Manning doesn't run. Tom Brady doesn't run. So no, he doesn't have to run. As a fan of Ohio State, would I wanted to see him run a little bit more? Absolutely. But does he have to run? No, he doesn't. Great quarterbacks, some of them don't run.
Okay. All I'm saying is, can't you pick an argument and stick to it. But don't pick. But when it's your guy, listen. When it's your wait a minute. When it's your team, when it's your teams and it's your guys,
you
it's
gotta
different.
separate.
You can shoot
from analysis. Like you gotta separate the two. You cannot combine being a fan and analyzing some shit. That's it. They don't coincide.
Okay,
I can't just say, "Oh, this guy's better than this guy" because I'm a fan of this team. No.
Okay. And
we're
what I'm
wasting
saying
time
is,
if we're doing that.
Okay. And what I'm saying is, everybody is at 4 is the Colts taking in every mock draft. Everybody, all the insiders, everybody saying the Colts are taking them at 4.
They're saying yes, the Colts need a quarterback,
They do.
and if you're gonna pick a quarterback, this would be the best one available. They're not saying if this was me, I would take that quarterback.
Oh.
Again, it's going based upon need, most important need, and what's available.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the reality is this: if the Colts aren't sold on, if they think Richardson's the best in the draft, they're gonna take him at 4. Great, that's for them. But at the end of the day, all I think that me and Jared are saying is, if you don't think one of them are worth picking at 4, you don't draft them at 4 just so you can say you got a quarterback. That's it.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying is that being a fan and watching the games and on top of what everybody else is saying, they're probably going to take Richardson at 4. Am I, as a Colts fan, because we started off as a conversation with Colts fans, so me being one of the only ones in here, I think, I'm saying that I believe that they should take Richardson.
Okay,
Jesus.
that's
Okay, that's fair.
That's
That's
what
fair.
I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair because I truly believe if they're crazy enough to do that, they're gonna be drafting number one next year.
That's
Anyway,
what I'm.
so go. So that's fine. And here's the thing.
I agree.
But here's the thing. You're saying take
Probably.
Richardson at 4, and y'all gonna stink. And then you literally was making it sound like then just take another quarterback next year, bro. They're
No,
not taking a quarterback at
no,
4 and then another one at 1 the next
no.
year. I'm gonna tell you that right
What
now.
I'm saying is they're saying that the next year's QB has better. Next year's draft, I'm sorry,
Has better
QB,
quarterbacks.
have better
So why would
quarterbacks
you
than them.
want your team to not get a quarterback this year if it's not one that you want? Boom.
It's not about what I want.
he's not saying you as in you. He's saying you as in an organization, bro.
Okay, so because my thing is, I think the Colts are looking at it as their anybody who been watching the Colts, the quarterback play they feel like is what's been holding them back. So you
But the
have these.
answer to that is just not take the best quarterback available if you don't feel that that's the man for the job.
And I
That's
feel
not
like,
the answer.
but you've been doing that. You've been not taking a quarterback. I'm just saying, just hear me out. You've been not taking a quarterback and been getting fill-ins, and it hasn't been working. And I feel like if you felt that strongly about the QBs in this draft just possibly not falling to you or not being the ones, there were other quarterbacks that were available, younger ones, not old 32-year-old
Okay.
quarterback that you could have got. You could have went after a Carr or somebody or some if you were gonna do a fill-in just for a year.
My whole thing with the
That's
Colts
all I'm
is
saying.
I don't think it's all been quarterback. Let's
has
talk
to
about
be.
these wide receivers.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have. There's
It
no
ain't
separation.
been all on the quarterback.
Okay, but still, you've been spending first and second round picks on QB on wide receivers. That's all I'm saying. The
I
past
don't
couple
think
years.
the quarterback has been the Colts' Achilles heel, bro. We've talked about this. I don't think it's been 100% that.
Nope.
I feel like if you had some better receivers around some of those quarterbacks that's been through that quarterback room with the Colts, you might have had greater success.
Okay, so who?
Hold on.
I got a question.
Let
Wait,
me ask
hold on.
Let me
Go ahead.
ask you something. Let me
Okay.
ask you something. And I want you to understand what I'm saying about Minshew is not crazy, bro. You got to remember he was just with Buddy in Philadelphia.
I
There's a
know.
reason
I
they
know.
signed him.
I know.
And I'm gonna tell you now, there's a reason they signed him
know.
because I'm assuming that the coach for the Colts has somebody or a player or two in mind that he wants there. And if they can't get him, don't be surprised if they rock with Minshew and they wait another year to get a quarterback.
Especially
I hear
if
what you're
Levis
saying.
and Richardson are your only options at 4.
Correct.
I hear what you're saying, but check this out. When we got Phillip Rivers, who were the receivers?
Shit.
I don't know.
That's your team. You tell us.
No, I'm just saying though. Like it wasn't. Ty was the
I don't know.
probably the only. Ty, you had Campbell as a rookie. You had, just some random guys.
That's what we've been
Wait
saying,
a
Vernon.
minute. But we won 11 games and went to the playoffs.
Okay,
Same
you probably
receivers.
could've won
Wait a
more
minute.
if
No,
you had
hold on.
better.
Okay,
won
cool,
more.
cool,
You had
whatever.
better receivers.
Okay, cool. Next year, you go get Carson Wentz. Same receivers. Nobody knew, except for Pittman. That was his rookie year.
How'd that work out?
Okay, cool. You missed the playoffs by one game. I'm just saying. Same receiving core. Ty was there. Same guys. Next year, which is this past year, you get another old boy in the second round.
Alec Pierce.
Another receiver. You put him out there. You get another tight end, Jelani Woods. You getting these weapons. You got tight. You got.
no
I know. Just hear me.
bro.
Just hear me. Just hear me.
Hey,
I'm just
Justin, let
talking
him
about in
finish.
these first.
Let him
I'm just
finish.
talking about in these first couple rounds what they have been spending picks on. Not no quarterbacks, because a lot of quarterbacks fail that you could have grabbed. That you could have developed. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Loving it.
So, as a coach who you haven't invested in a quarterback position from a young standpoint, from a rookie standpoint.
Yeah, you have. What about Sam Ellinger?
Yep.
Okay, another one who has never who could never win the winnings from the starting spot from all these random quarterbacks that you're bringing in. If they were good enough, you wouldn't trade for Carson. You wouldn't bring in Phillip. If he was ever good enough, you wouldn't bring in these guys. So that's all I'm saying. So he's in there every day. If he was that good, they wouldn't have never brought these guys in. So all I'm saying is, you haven't invested none of your first, second round picks, none of your top picks in quarterbacks. So now at a point, it's like, okay, We can trade back. We can get a lineman. We can get a D lineman, O lineman. We can get a skill position. But it's like at some point you got to start investing in that position in the draft and to see if something's there because nothing else you've been doing has been working. And I feel like, and this is just from an organization standpoint, the way Irsay is looking at it and the way that the GM is Ballard is looking at it is that what else can he do? It's like you haven't drafted a quarterback under your regime. You haven't drafted one, and the one you did draft retired.
But
bring in a number one fucking wide receiver, and then let's see what.
I agree with that too. But you're gonna have to give up a potential first round to get a top guy. If you want a Hopkins, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Depending on who you go after.
You're saying that, but there's not no guys who are going for first round picks, bro.
Well, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. I'm done a top pick. Maybe not. You might have to give up the fourth. But like, if you want DeAndre, because I feel like that's probably one of the few.
DeAndre's probably going for a third, bro, or a second at some point.
Probably a second and a third. Probably a second.
No. One or the other.
Oh, you only think that?
I'm asking. That's for a third.
I can see a second and a fifth or some shit like that.
Yeah, like it'd be a later. Two.
It'd be a second and a second or a third, and then a fifth or a sixth. Like he's not going from. He's not going for all that.
I'm not saying y'all wrong, but then, who wants to come to the Colts without a quarterback? Who wants to go as a receiver, as a top receiver? Where do you want to? Who wants to go to a team where you don't know who's throwing you the ball?
It don't matter. That's why you getting traded. You ain't signing as a free agent. You're getting traded.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
does he have a choice? Does he have a choice?
I don't think he has.
He don't have no choice.
Yeah, I think he got rid of his trade clause.
If they say we sending you here, guess what he doing? He packing his bags.
If you want to get that bread,
if you want to get that bread, he gone.
Yeah.
So that's irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, like I think I'll just say it this way: drafting a quarterback in the first or second round doesn't make him good.
No, not at all.
There's too many quarterbacks that go later in the rounds that come out to be good. Your problem with less quarterback. Yeah, I mean, look, Brock Purdy again. Like I use him as the example because he's probably the more recent one. But it's system, bro. You got to have the right guy for the system you're trying to run. You have the right guy. I don't care where you draft him. But again, like I said, I'm not saying that I'm gonna be surprised if the Colts take a quarterback at 4. All I'm saying is that if you're doing it just to do it, it's the wrong decision to make. That's it.
Terrible strategy.
If your coach likes Richardson and say, hey,
then
look,
take him. That's fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna live with the results. But I'm telling you now, if he's terrible, you're not taking a quarterback at 1 the next year, bro. You're gonna be rocking with Richardson for 4 years, 5 years. Period. Zach Wilson's stuck with the Jets. Have you heard anything about Zach Wilson getting traded? No. You know why? No. Because when you draft a quarterback that high, he's stuck for the most part.
I'm not arguing that, but at some point you got to get stuck. At some point you got to make a decision and get stuck. Like, all these other teams have done it. Like, no. I'm just saying.
Not intentionally, though.
No, but I'm just saying, like, your top, like, you look at your top team. You got your Mahomes, your Allen, like all these guys were drafted. Like you got to make a decision.
None of them were picked top like that, and both of them got passed by many teams.
I'm just saying, you have to make a decision at some point on QB. You're gonna have to draft one. Like, are you gonna hit
on the right one, bro?
But we just went round the circle about who's the right one. We don't know. Purdy's the right one right now.
Neither one of us is saying that the coach absolutely. I mean.
But you're dogging Richardson. Oh, but if it's Richardson, I mean, what? Like, you don't know who. All I'm saying is you don't know, because
I do know that a guy.
We're saying that the way you're looking at it is wrong. That's what we're saying.
Yes. Period.
That's it.
Okay. We'll see. That's
all we're saying.
My perception is long.
No, we're not. I'm not saying I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm not saying that your perception on everything is wrong.
No, you just said the way I'm looking at it is wrong, but y'all don't.
Yeah, at this situation, I'm not trying to discredit you.
Like, looking at it the same way.
Vernon's just an idiot. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying the way you're looking at the QB situation for the Colts is wrong. Like, that's all I'm saying about that.
I don't think I'm looking at it wrong. They need a QB.
You're essentially trying to make a decision that is.
You got me going.
I'm not.
You know what?
I'm not.
You
Y'all
want them,
act like
you just
I'm the
want them
G.
to make
Y'all
a
act like
drastic
I'm the
decision.
coach's GM. I'm not the GM.
No,
I'm not making no
we're
decision.
just talking. This is a podcast. We're
I
all giving
know, but I'm
opinions,
just saying. Though,
and
I'm not
we just
making
happen to
any
disagree
decisions.
with that opinion about
That's
the
it.
coach. That's all.
Hey,
Okay,
I
y'all don't think they should
we
take
like to
Richardson?
say something. At the end of the
I
day,
think he's the best
Vernon,
available.
this is the thing. I don't think you take the best available quarterback if that's not who you want, just so
Not
you
a
can draft a
four. No,
quarterback.
too high.
If you
Okay.
like Levis or Richardson or whoever's available there, and you actually like them, take them. Take
Yeah.
them. That's fine. But if
Okay.
that's not your guy, don't take them just to take a quarterback.
And
That's it.
that's what we're saying.
That's
That
it.
Okay.
what he just said, retweet.
I hear
That's
that.
what we're saying.
I
That's
hear
all.
that.
That's what we're saying.
And I don't. Okay, cool. So why can't I say that I don't think that's? I think that
you can't.
I mean,
We're
you
just saying we
can,
don't
but
agree with what you're
you're
saying.
just saying. Okay,
So-
cool. Don't agree. But what I'm saying is how the Colts organization is looking at it is that they need a QB and they have to. I
But
feel
you just said you ain't the GM, so how you know
Okay,
they're looking at it that way?
because it's all I hear. I'm a fan, just like you hear everything with Lamar and the Ravens, because you pay attention. And being in Indianapolis,
My boy has
you
done
don't
a
hear
good
it.
job at speaking about that Lamar situation.
Exactly,
Straight up
because
and
he's
down.
owned it every day. He getting some.
We ain't heard no flaky, no
I'm just
homer
saying
talk.
he's getting every
Kudos
update
to
from
him for that.
the Ravens. Just like you
'Cause I
hear
would be
everything
fucking
about
freaking out if I
Cincinnati.
was him. Better man than I'll ever be. Because if this
So-
happened with Burrow, I'm gonna be tweaking. Like
I'm
straight
just,
tweaking.
I'm just saying. So from what I hear from the different outlets, it's just like, look, Ballard's back is up against the wall to get this QB thing right because he's been getting it wrong for so long.
Fucking
And
build a team, bro.
and I'm-
Like, build a fucking
Exactly.
team.
And here's my thing, Vernon. My opinion, if I just say an opinion, I think if you take Levis or Richardson, Ballard's losing his job because neither one of them are going to help you win right now.
But I
Period.
think
That's all I'm saying.
I think that's what it is because then it's like, regardless, you're going if this season is a failure, like
He's gone.
horrible like last year, you're gonna be out anyway.
Right. So why would you bank your job on Richardson or Will Levis?
Or you gonna bank it on Minshew?
I would do it before I would bank it on one of them. He's had success in the NFL. Like it or not, he's
Yeah.
had some success in the
That's
NFL.
true.
He had a
If you
terrible
bring in-
Jaguar team competing.
Yeah, I'm not obviously AJ Brown is locked in with the Eagles, but if you bring him in an AJ Brown or something, I mean, shit, they can win some games.
Yep.
Okay. Look, I hope y'all right. I hope I'm wrong and y'all right. But
Yeah, like that. I don't have nothing against the Colts. Like we're just talking about our opinions on the situation. Like, but ultimately, I don't really care. Like,
yeah, I think with Irsay, like I said, with him being involved in the quarterback situation, like I just think that has to happen. I don't know. I look. I mean, you go out guns blazing. Hey, look, I did the best I could for the time I was here. But if Ballard don't get this QB thing right this year, you unchanged everything else outside of from within your power.
They could be on Baltimore's line, bro.
I hope.
They
And
could
I've been
be
hearing rumors
on
of
the
that
line,
too.
we don't
Like
know.
I've been. That's something else that's been.
They could be on San Francisco's line because I think San Francisco got a good problem. I mean, I don't.
But I don't think they want
They
to
got a
get
good problem to have. You got two quarterbacks that could win in that system.
But
shit, they might be willing to part with one. You never know.
not with their luck at quarterback. You don't do that.
shit.
You hold on to everybody.
He'll bring in a quarterback. See, Shanahan will bring in a quarterback,
That's what I'm saying.
and automatically you have enough confidence in him. He finds guys who fit his system, so I can definitely see them trading Trey Lance.
No,
Yeah.
If we get rid of Trey Lance, we'll get Nick Mullins back. It's
Yeah.
really not gonna be good.
Yeah,
Like San Fran to mess around, real talk, and bring in Cam Newton, bro. And we'll be like, what just happened? Cam Newton come out there winning games because I just think they have the right system in place and they know how to do it. It's all about the fit.
I could
bro.
see him.
Yeah.
I could see him playing two quarterbacks.
Yep.
You know, just kind of situational.
Yep.
I
They
can see
did that before with
That's
Garoppolo
what
and Lance. When Lance
that's
first
what
got
I'm
there, they
saying.
was doing it. So
I could see Cam with a funky ass package from Shanahan.
Yes, sir.
Goal line
Put-
shit.
Put Cam on the
For
one.
yardage. I can see
What?
that.
Yep.
And then it's not like you bringing Cam Newton in for Tom Brady or some shit. You bringing Cam Newton in for either Lance or the other guy,
Brock Purdy. Mhm.
Brock Purdy. You know,
as a specialist that runs a special packages,
That shit works. So, that
that's
wouldn't surprise me at all. That's
good.
That's another good point, Justin. That ding ding ding. We was playing around the horn, bro. You have
right no more. You get the
you
bell.
got some awesome points this episode. Like crazy.
Appreciate it.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So, I think we was talking about the Bears too. Also, Tremaine Edwards. They got T.J. Edwards, Nate Davis, Dante Foreman,
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. Did I say?
Yeah,
No,
DJ. Yep.
T.J. Edwards. My fault. Not
Nah,
DJ.
yeah, DJ Moore though. They
Yeah,
got him in the
they got
trade.
DJ
Yeah.
Moore in the
Well, I'm
trade.
looking at who they've
Free
signed.
agency
Yeah, free
wise.
agents they signed. They
Yeah.
got Robert Tunyon. Yeah, they done grabbed a couple guys. So, just I guess notable guys. So yeah, they haven't done bad, man.
I like my guy getting a chance. I like that they're taking a chance on field. So we'll see.
I'll tell you another team too
Yep.
who's been quiet. I guess get back to what we were talking about. Free agent signing Detroit. Detroit they've been spending money, especially with CGJ. I think that was a good signing.
Gardner Johnson was a great signing.
Even David Montgomery at running back, I think that was a good one. They got Mosley, like
The thing
Jamal
NFL free
Williams.
agency is thing I don't understand about NFL free agency is like when I'm looking at what some guys got that other teams passed up on, like
Correct. Yep.
For instance, like we grabbed Nick Scott from the Rams, but then you look at what Jordan Poyer got, it's almost like, well, damn, you could have just spent a couple little extra and got
And grab Poyer.
I see a lot of that with teams. It's just like like I see what the Saints got Jamal Williams for, and I'm just like, damn, Bengals. I mean, you just lost the running back. I mean, you couldn't give my man $4 million a season. Like, so, and obviously I'm focused more on my team because that's my team.
But I think,
that's just
but I also
example.
think the longer you wait, the price go down more too. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's true because there's still some guys out there.
yeah,
for sure.
but the longer you kind of sit on it, and like guys want to get on the team, the closer you get to.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yes and no though, because some usually
draft.
there's multiple teams that are in that position, so they still have some leverage. It just depends on position and
After the draft too, like you don't know what teams are drafting too, so like they like, all right, cool, we didn't get our running back in the draft, all right, let's go grab a guy. You know what I mean? Like
And I think it's underrated how much some of these guys can be replaced by rookies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like.
especially the running back position. That's
Like P-Ron probably had 500 yards, something maybe this year, bro. You could bring in a rookie that can do that.
But this,
I'll say this: I can't say I agree with that only because I already feel like they devalue the running backs way too much in the NFL. There are some that are special that you're not necessarily just bringing in any guy or any rookie to replace.
No, I was not saying any. I was just saying an example. Like I'm speaking on P-Ron, for example. Like
Yeah.
Can you grab a guy from college, maybe even in the third or fourth round, that can give you 500 yards on the ground and 200 yards receiving?
Well, you remember we talked about this though, Jared. I said I'm assuming that means they're going to have Chris Evans more into that offense and something.
He should have been in the offense. Like,
so
that's
so you guys had but
time.
you know what I mean. So like you had him anyway. So losing Samaji probably wasn't a big deal because they were looking to give Evans more play anyway. You know what I mean?
But the only thing about that is I don't think him or Mixon is the greatest at pass blocking.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's where
true.
but
maybe
you got Orlando Brown Jr.
Yeah, he ain't gonna fix the entire.
You ain't really got to worry about the left side.
He ain't picking up no blitzes up the middle though. So
no, I'm just saying though. I'm like,
back,
at least that's one side you really ain't got to really worry about.
And I wouldn't say that.
I don't really
watched
know
him enough.
honestly,
I watched him enough in Baltimore and even in Kansas City. He ain't that. He ain't Trent Williams, bro. So don't get it twisted. He was just one of the best of what's available.
Right.
That's it. Why you think Kansas City let him go and then go get Jawan Taylor from Jacksonville, bro? If he was all that, they would have paid him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
saying.
Because
they paid Jawan Taylor.
I'm just saying, but it wasn't the same. They ain't paying the same what Orlando got.
The cup half full. Maybe he was mad about the franchise tag and wanted to go somewhere
Probably.
else.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like.
So
that's one thing about the franchise tag. When you give a guy a franchise tag, like it's hard to pay him afterwards. Like
I don't get too caught up in that PFF shit and even the pass win rate. No, man, that's all bullshit.
I'm just saying he didn't give up any sacks in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he from what Dell's stats say, he had the best pass win rate out of all three of the offensive tackles that got paid this offseason.
Yeah.
Is it true or not? I'm not gonna put too much real estate in it, but that's what the stats quote unquote read. So I'm optimistic. I mean, I think it's a great signing, but
he's an upgrade over.
He could tear
what y'all had,
and then what? So it's we'll see.
Uh,
Knock on
Ike,
wood. Please
man,
don't.
what's the Niners doing, man? What do y'all need? Where y'all headed, man? What's
We don't
going
need
on
shit,
in
nigga.
Death
We
Row?
in the postseason, nigga.
Motherfucking
Shit.
Pro Bowl team over there. Shit. I'm glad y'all in the
Actually,
NFC though.
man,
I'm just waiting on Lamar to come to death row, baby.
look, bro,
Man,
I'm trying to work
bro,
that out, man. Well, I mean, honestly, we've addressed what we lost. So, I mean, everybody knows we got Hargrave, but I mean, one of the things that I thought we did well was like we lost Jimmy Ward, we lost Emmanuel Mosley. We did go out and get Tyshawn Gibson, and then we got to replace Mosley. Give me 1 second, I'm about to find it. So we actually got 2 corners. Isaiah Oliver, who will probably end up being our
He's
new
solid
nickel.
though. Yeah, he's solid.
Meanwhile, we're probably gonna
But
re-sign Eli Apple.
yeah,
It's coming. Wait on it.
so
Yeah.
I mean, and even I'm not even mad at getting Sam Darnold, like because
No.
and Carolina, like he had to be the man. Like
Yep.
you ain't gotta come
Yep.
here and be the man. Like we
Nope.
got Suge Knight for that. You ain't gotta worry about that. Look, hike the ball, hand the ball off, throw it when we tell you to throw it. Like that's it. you ain't gotta do all that. So I mean, we addressed. I mean, a defense that was already stacked. We addressed what we lost.
Right.
We
And you still
added
got the draft.
Some, and we added some quarterback depth, and we got like 6 or 7 compensatory picks from actually.
Yeah, I remember. I saw that. Yep.
Quarterback or minority coaches get jobs. So like, I mean, I think 3rd through the 6th round, we got like 7 or 8 picks that we can actually use and improve in any of the other spots. I mean, I think we still need to do some with the O line.
Yeah.
But we'll have some.
I think I grabbed one guy.
We did grab it.
Yeah, I grabbed a tackle. I think it was McKent. What's his name? McKinley or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
And just so you know, Vernon,
Yes,
at
sir.
least from what this site says, Jawan Taylor got total of 80 million. Orlando got 64 million total. So
What's the years difference?
both of them were 4 years.
4.
It was
And
just
it's
how
ga-
the money plays out. So
What's the guarantee on it?
Uh,
I wanna say
Jawan's
Because that's really what matters. Because that's what hits the books
Jawan's
first.
is 60 total guaranteed,
Okay.
and Orlando's is 31. So again, if Orlando was all that, they wouldn't have let him walk and go sign Jawan.
But again, though, like we were saying with the franchise tag, it's hard to get a guy back once you tag him.
Yeah, but
Because
I mean,
Orlando was
choice.
talking, but Orlando
no
was
choice.
talking. Well, Orlando was talking about he wanted the deal initially. Because you got to think he didn't get signed till late with Kansas City last free agent season. Like nobody was really going after him.
Well, his problem is Orlando Brown wants to be a left tackle, but most people only see him as a right. That's why the
That's true
trade
too.
had
Because
to
he
come
want left
from
tackle.
Buffalo.
I
Yeah.
heard
that
that
left tackle
too.
money.
That's what the issue was.
That's what the issue was.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
probably why, like I said, I ain't saying Orlando Brown ain't good. Now, granted, this site maybe it's wrong on how that money distributes out or whatever, but that's just what
probably
it's
true.
saying in terms of the money.
Mhm.
But Jawan Taylor's I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know what Kansas
Where'd
City's doing
Jawan
on
Taylor come from?
Jacksonville.
Yep.
And I mean, so you could say the same thing about them. If he was all that, then they would have.
They would have. But
So-
for them, the only reason why I didn't say that for them, don't forget they went on that crazy spending spree last year, so they probably didn't have the cap space after giving all those guys that money last year.
Yeah, but the Jaguars got a bunch of young dudes too, so they don't have a bunch of big contracts. It's at the receiver spot because they just got Ridley back too. So his money about to hit the books too.
Don't forget they got that.
nice,
They got
man.
some defenders, and then don't forget they have to have the money together for Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who's
Yeah,
about to come up. And they're probably going to try to get his deal done this year.
Soon, everybody
so they're
learning
not
their
looking like
lesson from
Baltimore.
Lamar.
Correct. Yep. So they're not looking like
Everybody
Baltimore.
learning their lesson. Like, look, man, I'm gonna sign him in the 3rd year.
It'll be cheaper. It'll be cheaper because Trevor ain't got a whole lot of leverage right now. He ain't got a whole bunch of playoff wins or MVP or nothing like that. So it's like
one playoff
that
win.
bar is just gonna keep going up every year.
Yep, every year. So.
Yeah. So I do hope we get him.
It's a possibility. But I said this. I said, for me, I think the draft is going to be interesting to see what teams, what they do, because I think that's going to give you the indication of what team may make a play for him. Whether it's the Colts. I said, as crazy as it may sound, I wouldn't be surprised if D'Amico's already having conversations like, nah, we gonna shock him. I'm going to get a defender at 2, and we're going to go after Lamar after the draft because then you're trading next year's pick and the year after that. Yeah. You add Lamar to some of the talent. He's like, we're not going to have a top 10 pick. You can have Lamar for 15 or whatever it may be the next year, and they'll take it.
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah. I think it's definitely a chess game too. Like
it is. It is.
It's a chess game. Cause if you would, like you said, if you wait till after the draft and you can really make a move after that, cause you know what you got. You know what I mean. Or you could draft what Baltimore won't. Even if you want to you can make a trade on draft day.
Mm-hmm.
So
I doubt it, but yeah.
It could happen like, hey.
Because I don't think, like we've talked about before, if I had a top 5 pick, I wouldn't be trading it for Lamar. Because I don't think you have to give it up. Is he worth it? He's worth it, but I don't think you have to give it up. You know what I mean? I just don't. I truly think if it was like a team like Detroit or Seattle, like we talked about, teams with 2 first-round picks, you trade that second first. You give Lamar the money, you're trading the second first-round pick, and then next year's 1, and that looks like a great deal for you as long as Lamar is healthy.
Yeah, but I don't think that you also.
But neither one of them are going after him. But I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I'm just saying. But you got to also think about you're negotiating with a team. You know what I mean? So you got to think about what Baltimore wants too to make it happen. Also,
wait, no.
It don't have to. That's right. No, he got the tag. That's right. He don't have to go. Yeah. You don't. But you don't have to get. I heard it don't have to be 2 first.
No, it's 2 first.
Yeah,
it's 2. That's the tender. It's a 2 first-round tender.
That's so like the franchise tag clause. Like,
yep. If
so
Baltimore
that's not even
match it,
negotiations.
It's 2 first-rounders. So.
Y'all think Baltimore won't match it?
Yeah, I think if somebody like Garrett said,
I think 200 guaranteed.
I think it depends on who you are, because I feel like if the Texans had been in the same situation with Deshaun, and they'd have put a non-exclusive tag on him, and the Browns came with 230 guaranteed, I think the Texans would have been like, all right, you need anything to help you. You know,
right? we gonna call the movers for you.
Yep.
Yeah. You need to borrow our jet to go to Cleveland. Like, what's up?
Man.
So I think it just depends on how crazy the contract is.
Yep.
And like I said, I keep praising Baltimore. They are not a stupid franchise. I don't think they're just gonna toot their ass up. You know, they just gonna figure something else out, like they've done in the history of that organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's the organization that's defense first. I mean, that's just the reality.
If they lose Lamar, they're gonna figure something else out. They are. I have all the faith in the world in it.
Did you say they would have sent Watson out in the PJ and a masseuse?
Yeah, I think if this was the same situation, the Texans would have been like, all right, bro, like, see ya, we ain't matching that shit. I don't think there's many teams in it that would have matched that shit.
There's only one quarterback who has that kind of pool right now, and that's Mahomes. Every other quarterback, if they got that contract, the team's saying deuces.
Yep.
So,
what if it's like 180 guaranteed and like 250 overall?
I don't think Baltimore goes, honestly, in terms of guaranteed. I think probably your max on that is going to be around that 170 range. I think anything above that is really going to be questionable on the number of years. Mm-hmm. And then the total after that is also going to come into play. But I think if somebody goes, Lamar, here's 4 years, $200 million, he's gone. I don't think Baltimore's matching it. If they do $200 million guaranteed,
I don't think. Yeah, well, I don't think that. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm thinking like, what's closer to like Kyler Murray? Because Kyler Murray is 160.
No team's gonna offer him that because they know he ain't gonna take that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about above that. So I'm saying like if it's like 170.
But I'm saying it can't be close to Kyler. I don't think Lamar's taking 133 guaranteed because it's already been offered for 3 years.
No, I'm saying 170.
The total's irrelevant, bro. It's the guaranteed. That's the mix-up is the guaranteed.
I'm talking about the guarantee.
It's 133 for Kyler, or 133 is what he's offered, and Kyler's was like 160.
I think he's saying if somebody came in at 170.
That's what I said. It can't be close to Kyler, bro. It has to be closer to Deshaun.
What's that?
He's not. You see what I'm saying? He's not. If Kyler got 160 and you come with 165, 170, I don't think Baltimore matches that. But I also don't think Lamar's signing that anyway. He's not accepting that. He has to accept it, bro.
Fuck around and be out the league, bro.
That boy said, "Look, 2 bills or nothing."
Like,
I think you're gonna. I think
he's turning 180.
Speaking of that, do y'all know he got? You know he got a YouTube channel. You know he about to talk about what's going on in the.
He ain't Gary say much, bro. Lamar don't
so?
talk.
Right.
Lamar don't talk, bro. Like.
So why is he setting all this up?
Ain't this nigga interviewing himself?
Yeah, he's.
I don't know. I don't
He
know.
is.
He's interviewing himself, bro. I'm okay.
And
Not a
then,
real
and then
interview.
he don't
I
have
wanna
an
see what he gotta
agent,
say.
so those extra millions that he won't guaranteed. I mean, you feel like you figure how many of that guaranteed is Kyler paying to his agent? Like you don't
Correct.
have an agent, so
Correct.
Because I think the
you
percentage
know you should
But
that
it's
get
they
only
get
like 1%, I think, for the agent, though. They
it's
said
2.
1%.
I think it's
One-
2%. They get 2% of the
I,
total contract.
I
I believe.
think they said it's between 1 and 2 then.
Yeah, I
So
think
because
it's-
it ain't a high
Well,
percentage.
Nah, it's not crazy.
a whole
Yeah,
lot.
they don't get much. I used to want to be an agent. They don't get much.
I
of the
thought it
actual
was like
contract. They get more of the endorsements.
10 or some
Yep.
shit, but
They could get up to
Endorsements.
25% of endorsements if it's
Mhm.
agreed to, but of the actual contract, no, it's
It's not a whole lot. That's why they got so many daggone clients.
Man. Yeah, man. Well, I guess we can jump into final thoughts then, man. I guess. Yeah.
I think we hit it. I don't even got
I
nothing.
think we hit everything, man. We
This was
had
good.
fun.
This was good.
Man, this was just as good as John Wick for me.
Like was chilling, boy. He was straight chilling. And he was fired up.
I almost
like
went and
that,
got
though.
popcorn and popped that for a second. I didn't want to be too loud in the background.
I apologize on my end. Your guy Vernon was tripping, though, bro. So I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah, we
You
had
gotta
to
apologize.
get him together,
Okay.
man.
I
All
was
right,
thoroughly
whatever.
entertained.
Whatever.
So I'm
Like I
sure
said,
everybody else listening was entertained as well.
Like
Yeah,
I
for
said,
sure.
I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, I can't either, bro. I can't wait till the
I
draft.
can't.
We should do something for the draft, man.
That sounds good to me.
I can stream it live. We can stream it live and
We
watch
do
it
that.
live.
We can do that.
We can have like a live show.
We can do that.
We just do the first. What we gonna do? The first 2 rounds?
No, the first,
Nah,
the
first
Or
first
just the
round.
first? No.
round.
This first round.
Yeah, we just do
Even
the
on the
first
first
round.
night, they only do the first round.
Yeah, we'll just do
Even
the first
that's
night of
4
first
hours,
round.
so I don't even know if
Yeah, you really
Maybe
probably
what,
only doing the
top
first
10?
10 picks.
that,
Yeah.
Top
yeah,
10,
that shit's
top-
going. The first round by itself be
Wait
like
a minute,
3-4
Ike.
hours.
What's San Francisco pick? Wait a minute, no. What's the Bengals pick?
We ain't got no
We're
first
like
round pick.
20.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
they
That's
ain't
what I
got
thought
no
about it. Y'all ain't got one.
We
What y'all
like
pick?
28 or some shit. So
Okay, so we'll do the
that's
first round. We'll show respect. We'll see what our teams pick.
Hey, don't do
Then
that
we
for
can-
me because I can't even guarantee I'll still be hanging around there. I'm just
Hell,
sitting on the
we gonna
side,
have-
waiting on our first round pick.
We can hang out. We can talk about other teams too. We have stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
I
it's-
just
yeah,
think
we'll
we
figure
need to
something out.
watch
We
the
can
first
talk about it.
4
We'll figure it
picks to see
The
what
first
happens
4.
with that 4.
Wait, that's gonna be 40.
Oh, so that's it.
That's it.
So we can get over. Okay. Hey, whatever y'all want to do.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, this has been another episode of the Epic Podcast, man. See y'all next week.
Yes,
Holla.
sir.